Have you decided you want to move your family to Spokane for better quality of life, but you're just feeling a little overwhelmed by the prospect of buying a house from afar in an unfamiliar place? In this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips to help you navigate the buying process in Spokane while living somewhere else so you can ditch the stress and just get back to feeling excited about your new adventure. And be sure to stay until the end for the one tip that most people don't think about when buying a house here. If we haven't met before, my name is Emily Silcock and I'm a realtor that specializes in helping out-of-area buyers move their families to Spokane. On a personal note, we also moved to Spokane from Seattle, so I completely understand how stressful the whole process can be without the right guidance. All right, let's hop right in. My first tip is know your timeline. Do you have a specific date that you need or want to be in Spokane, or are you pretty flexible? Depending on what the real estate market is like when you're planning to move, you may need more or less time to find a house in Spokane. Right now in early 2022, housing inventory is extremely limited and houses are receiving multiple offers, so it might take a little bit longer for you to find the house that you want. I recommend getting connected with a realtor 4 to 6 months in advance. It may not take you that long to find a house, but at least then you won't be down to the wire. You also have to remember that there's going to be about a month or more between that time when you go under contract for the house and when you actually get the keys and move in. Tip number 2, determine your area. Let's first talk about getting around Spokane. So Spokane generally doesn't have a ton of traffic, especially compared to Seattle and Portland and probably most cities in California. But what is important to note is that Spokane is actually more sprawling than people expect. And aside from the I-90 freeway, most of your driving is going to be on surface streets with stoplights. Spokane has been working on a north-south freeway since 2009, but it's not projected to be finished until 2029. So right now there's really no fast way to go from the north into the south end of Spokane. Even though traffic's not a major consideration, one of the first questions I typically ask my out-of-area buyers is, where are you going to be working? I promise that you're going to quickly adapt to Spokane travel time standards. So even if it used to take you an hour to commute 5 miles, once you've lived in Spokane for a few months, your standard of far and a long commute will change. And then you're gonna think that a 20-minute commute going 60 miles an hour is an eternity. Right now, I'm actually seeing a lot of people moving to Spokane who can work remotely, so commute just isn't as much of a factor. So if the work commute is not an issue, then you'll just wanna think about kind of where else you wanna go regularly. You may want to consider, is there a particular school district that you want your kids in? Do you want to be near parks or walking distance to coffee shops and restaurants? Do you want to be self-contained in one area that has just about everything you need so you don't have to leave? Or do you need quick access to downtown? Obviously, the best way to get a feel for different neighborhoods is just to come and visit and tour in person, but I know that that's not always possible because life just gets busy. Tip 3. Get connected with a local lender. This is so important. So you want someone who's not only familiar with Spokane and the market, but also somebody that future listing agents, the ones who are representing the sellers, are going to feel comfortable working with. Listing agents essentially want to know that the lender is reputable and that the listing agent can get a hold of them when they need to. Your realtor can give you referrals for great local lenders that they've worked with in the past. And most importantly on this topic, do not use an online lender. You have been warned. Tip number 4, find your home. Because you're buying from afar and it's not practical for you to fly or drive in for every single house tour, most showings are going to be done via video call. So I've had a number of out-of-area buyers and investors who have purchased home this way, and they were able to snag really great places doing the majority of the work remotely. So we typically either do a video call or I take videos for them, and then I just try to mention anything that they couldn't pick up over the video. Like if it smells like 5 cats lived in the house, or the neighbor across the street is a hoarder and has a bunch of junk in the front yard. Basically, you just need someone to be the boots on the ground to give you the most comprehensive view of what you'd be getting before you come see it in person. And keep in mind that if the Spokane market is still competitive when you're planning to move here, you're gonna have to act quickly if you find a home that you like. And so you could likely offer on a house without seeing it in person first. The benefit of doing this is that you can get the house under contract with an inspection contingency. Then you can come visit for the inspection and make sure that it checks all of your boxes. Obviously, we don't want to just do this willy-nilly on any house out of respect for the seller, but it does give you an out if something doesn't make sense in person. Tip number 5, consider the weather. This is something that not enough buyers take into consideration when buying a house here. Spokane has 4 distinct seasons, which is actually one of the things I really love about living here, but Spokane winters can have a lot of snow and cold temperatures. When looking at properties, just be sure to factor in how this is going to affect your life. Does the house have a steep driveway that's going to be treacherous when it's icy? Or does it have this huge driveway that's going to need to be shoveled or snow blown for days on end? Summer is also something to consider. Spokane summers are typically hot and dry, and people in Spokane tend to water their lawns to keep them green, which is a very big change for me coming from Seattle, where everybody lets them die and go brown. So, does the home have a sprinkler system, or will you need to have one installed? Finally, on this topic, Spokane has pretty great weather in general in the spring, summer, and fall, so you're gonna want some outdoor space so that you can actually enjoy it. All right, those are my top 5 tips for relocating to Spokane. If you enjoyed this video, just be sure to check out my video on the 5 worst things about living in Spokane, so you can know if these might be deal breakers before you get the family all packed up and move over here. And if you have any questions about relocating to Spokane, please leave a comment, or you can reach out to schedule a free consultation. Having experienced the move myself and then helping other families do the same, I would love to help make this process as streamlined and low stress as possible for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.